What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about the DC Superheroes Drop of Doom VR at Six Flags Magic Mountain. So to start, the reason why I'm doing Facecam is because this is a VR experience. There's not really any footage of this ride, and this isn't even a roller coaster, it's a drop tower. So because there's no footage, I'm going to be trying Facecam today and just seeing how it goes. And so initially, this ride is just Lex Luthor Drop of Doom with VR added to it. And now for the ride experience. So first, you get strapped in, and you get your VR goggles set. And so it's pretty cool in the beginning before you start the ride. It's just you sitting there with VR goggles in this kind of lab type setting. It's almost like Lex Luthor's lair. I'm not really sure. And there are other people sitting around you in the VR experience with VR goggles on, and they're like test subjects as well. And so that's the beginning of the ride. And so when the ride actually starts, you start ascending, and then Lex Luthor shows up and says, "Now I can explain the real reason why you're here, to test my anti-gravity device." And by the way, there's no sound on this ride, so there's just text bubbles when somebody talks. And after Lex Luthor says that, everybody just starts freaking out, and the people that were sitting around you with the VR goggles, like at the beginning of the ride, they start falling out of their seats. They're anti-gravity, so they're just floating, and they're panicking. And that's where Wonder Woman and Superman show up. And after that, Wonder Woman says something like, "It'll be okay, we'll get you safe." But then you keep rising, you go out of the building that you were in, and then you're just ascending upward in Metropolis. There are a ton of buildings around you, and there's Lex bots that Wonder Woman and Superman are fighting off as you keep going upward. And then once you reach the top, there's the only sound throughout the whole ride. And this isn't through the VR, this was on the ride the whole time. So it's the same clip that you'll hear on the regular Lex Luthor without any VR, and it should sound a little something like this.
Today is your lucky day. Today your life changes forever, and this may very well be the high point of your insignificant existence.
And then also when you're at the top, you will see through the VR Lex Luthor with anti-gravity, and he is laughing while the clip is going off. And at that point, it holds you there for a few seconds before dropping you. And what you see in the VR while you're dropping is you just see the VR person that you are, you see their legs as you're falling, and it's just like a free fall in Metropolis, the anti-gravity stopped working, or Lex Luthor shut it off, something like that. And then at the very end of the ride, Wonder Woman catches you, so it's all okay. Now at the very end of the ride, you reach the ground, and you see Superman there, Lex Luthor being arrested, and Superman thanks Wonder Woman in the VR, and then Wonder Woman says back, "It's okay, we work as a team," something like that. And then that's the ride. Okay, now for my thoughts on this ride. And so originally when Six Flags Magic Mountain announced that they would add VR to Lex Luthor, I was not a fan. I do not like the idea of VR on rides, and I really hated the virtual reality on the New Revolution. And so I really wasn't looking forward to this. But this surprised me. Okay guys, VR on a drop tower is actually the way to go. And the reason why it's better than roller coasters is because on roller coasters, first of all, you're actually moving, and so it's harder to sync up the VR to the ride. And when it's not synced up, like the New Revolution, that VR wasn't synced up, it really hurts your head, and it's just not as enjoyable as the actual ride without VR. And also, the roller coaster, it might go upside down, so that obviously is a con with the VR. That would definitely hurt your head. And it's just a lot less enjoyable on a roller coaster. However, on a drop tower, it actually works pretty well, because it's pretty much two-dimensional. So the vast majority of the ride on Lex Luthor Drop of Doom, you're just going up. And the drop is also pretty fun with VR. I gotta say, the drop is probably better without VR, but in general, for Lex Luthor, I liked the ride better with virtual reality, which is strange to me because I just don't like that idea of adding VR to roller coasters. It generally just doesn't work too well. But with this drop tower, it actually really surprised me, and I really enjoyed the DC Superheroes Drop of Doom VR. And I just gotta point out that if you're afraid of heights, this definitely helps a lot, as with the virtual reality, it doesn't really feel like you're that high up. Originally, it feels like it takes a long time to get to the top. Like, it seems like it takes forever. But it actually goes by really fast when you have the VR, so that is definitely the way to go if you're afraid of heights, as it's entertaining, it's a good distraction, and it really doesn't feel like you're that high up. And so overall, I definitely like the DC Superheroes Drop of Doom VR. I think it was actually a good addition by the park. And for me, at least the times that I went on it, I enjoyed it more than without the VR. But definitely if you're going to Magic Mountain for a day, try this ride with the VR and without the VR, as they are totally different experiences. You will want to try both. A couple complaints about this though is the operations are pretty slow. So if there are a lot of people at the park, definitely this will be one of the longer lines. So maybe try and hit it earlier in the day when there are less crowds. And also, don't go on this thing too many times in a row, as it will hurt your head. Like, I went on it back-to-back times later in the day, and that did start to hurt my head a little. So if I would have gone on it any more, then it would have been a lot less enjoyable. And I also don't really like how they have speech bubbles for the characters when they're talking instead of actual sound. I feel like that will really enhance the experience, make it a lot better. But they're still testing the VR to see if it would be more of a permanent thing or a temporary thing. So definitely get out to riding this ride at Six Flags Magic Mountain. It is very fun and it is worth your time. So to wrap things up, I do enjoy the DC Superheroes Drop of Doom VR on Lex Luthor Drop of Doom at Six Flags Magic Mountain, and it is definitely worth your time. You should try it next time you go to Six Flags Magic Mountain. So let me know all your thoughts about the DC Superheroes Drop of Doom VR in the comments section below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you so much for watching. California Coasters signing off. See you guys next time.